Shemai everyone, it's JonnyVR here, and Doctor Who FLUX has finally arrived, and I've just finished watching the first episode called Chapter 1, The Halloween Apocalypse, and I'm going to be doing a review of that episode right now, giving my thoughts and my reaction to what happened. So before I kick off into that, be sure to click like and subscribe because I'll be doing this every week as each episode airs. Also, be sure to leave a comment what you thought of the episode because I will be doing a new Who News, which is our interactive monthly series, and I'll be featuring some of those comments. So put comments down below for a chance to be featured in that video. And if you like Doctor Who and you like video gaming, check out our gaming channel at youtube.com/skybotgaming, where I've recently played Doctor Who The Edge of Reality. And because it is the 31st of October, I'd like to wish you all a very happy Halloween. And I've carved this pumpkin featuring the Doctor Who insignia on it, so I hope you like that as well. So let's kick off into the review. The first part of the review, as always, will be spoiler free, and then I'm going to move into spoiler territory, and there is a whole lot to discuss after this episode. So here's the spoiler free part of the review. Now, there's a few things that I thought about this episode. First of all, it's pretty packed. It's a pretty packed episode, and there's a lot of multiple sort of different storylines going on. And this is the crazy thing. It's about a 50-minute episode, but for a good while, the various different storylines sort of take their time to settle in. Which is, I think, a really good thing because, for example, you had the introduction of a new character, a new companion, and that's all. It all takes its time to do, and to introduce John Bishop into the role of Dan Lewis. And I think he does a very good job. I was pleasantly surprised by his portrayal of the character, and just how much time they give him to sort of show what his life is actually like. Then we have loads of other storylines going on at the same time, and it's around about the middle of the episode where they start to connect a bit more, a few of the storylines, which is, it sort of becomes then your more classic Doctor Who episode, and the focus is on sort of one or two maybe alien races properly, as in the story of the episode, but there are lots of, and I mean lots, I'm telling you, there's so many storylines in here, and I think the fact that it's one story over 6 episodes means that it can freely do what it does in this episode by introducing things here and there, because you know that it's going to be picked up at a future time, and it does make you want to find out what happens. But the ending of the episode, oh my gosh, I want to know what happens next. I was shocked at kind of how high the stakes are. Everyone was talking oh, Doctor Who Flux, what the heck does that mean? But the stakes are high, and the cliffhanger was great to lead it on into next episode. And I really if every week is going to lead on into the next like that, Doctor Who Flux is showing promise already. And I'm really happy about that. This, overall what I wanted was a good story, and that I'm satisfied that at least in this first episode, it's a good story. And it's not just that, there's obviously links to future episodes, and there's also links to the past, continuing on some story arcs that we've seen already. Other things that are worth mentioning are that the special effects look really cool. There's some great effects throughout the episode. Also, the music was really good as well. It's sort of, again, and the thing is, the music really matched up because in the beginning when it took its time to tell the stories and show people where they currently are, and then but by the end the music was ramping up, and the finale, I literally can't wait until next Sunday now. But yeah, my my recommendation is for you to watch the episode. It's just a good story, I think, and it shows promise as a story arc. So I'm excited to see what happens next. Be sure to let me know what you think of it in the comments below. As I mentioned, I'll be featuring comments in this month's Who News. So there's not much that I can say now that won't be spoiler free. So if you haven't seen the episode next, be sure to check the end of the episode. I'll put a little bookmark on where I give my overall view and score for the episode, but I'm now going to go into spoiler territory. So here is your spoiler warning. Wow. Okay, so there were so many storylines. Like, I'll just list a few of them to begin with. There was Dan's storyline initially. There was the Doctor and Yaz's storyline initially, and how they were sort of entangled in a conflict with Calvinista. And then you have you have this Liverpool in 1820 storyline, which was again at the beginning but wasn't picked up. Then you have this crazy bit in the middle where somebody recognizes the Doctor but she doesn't recognize them. So it's really interesting to see Chris Chibnall go for the whole timey-wimey story arc, literally just before a weeping angel comes and takes her. Also, there was the Sontarans made an appearance as the Doctor's who else knows about the flux, and then the Sontarans come in and they got a good scene, a good proper scene where there's two Sontarans talking, and although it looks different, I believe the one on hologram is Dan Starkey. It sounded like him, but I'm not sure. But anyway, they were in it as well, but obviously that wasn't picked up because the next episode will feature them. And then you have the whole flux thing, and the thing is, it all looks like it started from this prisoner swarm, which is obviously what Chris Chibnall was referring to when he said that word swarm would be featured in the series. So, and all it is this thing which was imprisoned managed to escape, looked like absorbed this person, prison guard who went to check on him. And the way that the people disintegrate looks like that he absorbed them and got more strength. And then, and then from then on, he goes on and this swarm, this massive swarm, it looks great on special effects as it progresses through the solar systems, destroys entire planets. It just looks so cool, and the stakes are really high. Of course, then you had this other storyline with these people in the Arctic Circle, who then turns out to be one of this woman turns out to be Prisoner Swarm's sister, sort of in disguise. So in the beginning, when all these storylines sort of are happening, you're oh my gosh, another new location, another new characters, and then over time they start to connect more, and it builds up really well right up until the end. Also, again, another storyline was the fact that Jacob Anderson makes his appearance as Vinder on Operation Outpost, or is it Observation Outpost Rose? So I don't know if that's a reference to Rose the companion. I just thought it was strange because why would they name it after her? Must be a coincidence. But yeah, he makes his appearance just making observations when he sees this entire massive flux event happening. And then obviously he ejects from his observation post. He's all alone, and then he gets escape podded all the way out there. So again, characters are being introduced, given time, initially in the beginning of the episode, to see what they like. We see how bored he is, and yet how he's happy with seeing the sight of space, that no one else does. But again, he's bored. But it spends enough time building up these characters ready for the rest of the series, and still has enough time to give a decent standard Doctor Who story as well. The thing with Carvanista, who I think looks really cool. Like, just makes me think like of series 12, you know, in episode Orphan 55, where they had that person dressed up as like a squirrel, and they just had a squirrel tail on. The detail on Carvanister is a lot better, and I like his design a lot. I wasn't expecting his voice to be like that initially, but I got used to it throughout the episode. And I thought the way that he has to go and he kidnaps Dan Lewis, John Bishop's character, and and in the beginning of the episode again, which started off like really action packed as Carvanister's caught the Doctor and Yaz and is about to drop them into an acid ocean. So that leads the Doctor and Yaz to go looking for Carvanister, who's looking for Dan Lewis, and that's sort of the main basis of the episode, I think. Like the whole Carvanister, Dan, Dr. Yaz thing, while the Flux thing is going on in the background. And it's actually, I liked it a lot. Like, I liked I think they're called the Lupari, who are Carvanister's species. And, like, the fact that there was, like, 7 billion ships coming to Earth. And, like, from the beginning of the episode, they make him out as the bad guy. And which makes it a real cool twist when they actually revealed that he was actually saving Dan Lewis. And I just like the concept of that. They're like the Lupari. They're like literally, like the Doctor said, man's best friend. In the event of a massive cataclysm, each of the 7 billion Lupari is assigned one of the 7 billion humans, and they have to save them. Like, I really like that. That's so, like, somewhere out there in space, like, I've got my own Lupari who will come and save me if, like, the planet's about to explode. I just thought that was really cool. And then not only that, but Carvanister is the only division operative left alive, or that the Doctor could find. So that's why she was looking for Carvanister. And like, obviously the division is carrying on the story from series 12. So again, there's lots to explore here, and it's all set up quite nicely. And then, you know, the whole thing then at the end where they were like, oh, we got to save all human from the Flux, and then the Flux is coming really quickly. I just think it was a well-balanced episode, like from like setting up the story to the whole kidnapping of Dan Lewis, and then to the end where the Flux is like going to destroy like the solar system. Like, I just thought it was really cool. It just kept on getting better throughout the episode, and lots of interesting characters that had their time in this episode, and then onwards then for the rest of the season, like, you know, the threads are laid. You know, I have no idea what the swarm is and what the Flux is. You know, what is their purpose? What are they doing? Why do they want to do it? And that's the thing. They know who the Doctor is. Like, and I think the thing is, for 1 second, I thought that Prisoner Swarm was going to end up being the Master, because the way that he was describing, like, oh, we've always, you know, battled across time and space, you know, and I always remember the victories and whatnot. That sounds like a very Master thing to say, and I was like, oh my gosh, it wouldn't be the first time the Master is like disformed. And I thought, oh my gosh, is he gonna like bring the Master back in like successive series openers? But I actually think that because the prisoner was so old, I think that he's like timeless child era now. Like, since we don't know how many lifetimes the Doctor's had, clearly this timeless child has lived out lives countless way back when, at the beginning of time, and this swarm looks like the enemy of the timeless child. So I'd be interested to see how that plays out. But yeah, I think it's promising. It's really promising. I hope that it continues to be this action-packed. You know, there was very little time for any nonsense, or, you know, it was just one thing to the next thing to the next, and all connected quite well, and then it made sense in the end, and ultimately ended up with this huge flux, like the spaceships of the Lupari, like, to protect Earth, and then the TARDIS, like, opening up, and then the thing is, the Doctor then like smashes open the TARDIS, and like she said it was vortex energy or something like that, but I thought it was the heart of the TARDIS. I was like, did she just like smash open the heart of the TARDIS to fight the Flux? But again, I don't know whether it's the heart of the TARDIS. It could have just been vortex energy. It just looked similar. And that whole scene where it does nothing, I'm like, oh my gosh. The flux is coming, and that's where it ends. The end of the universe. So it'll be very interesting to see how this plans out. The next episode now, titled War of the Centaurans, looks like it's set in the past. So, like, you know, how are they going to survive this? You know, who knows? But yeah, I thought it was really promising. Really promising. I just hope that it ends well, because this is the thing. When it was series 12, the start of series 12, I thought it was, you know, it was good. It was promising. There was action. There was a cliffhanger. But then it ended up being one of the most divisive seasons. So I hope that the build-up leads to good payoff, and I hope that it's a good story. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I can definitely say that I enjoyed the Halloween Apocalypse. So overall, really promising, good visual effects, good music, and I really like how the various storylines initially take the time to develop, and we get introduced to new characters who we know who are going to play a part in the rest of the story. And throughout the episode, these storylines connect more and more to sort of streamline into this one massive event that it just keeps ramping up until it gets to this really massive cliffhanger. So yeah, I gotta say, I like the episode. Let me know what you think. My score for this episode, I think I'm gonna give it an 8. I think I'm gonna give it an 8. Yeah, I'll give it an 8. Let me know what you think down below. Cautious optimism for the rest of the series. Be sure to leave a comment, because like I said, it will be featured in the next Who News, and I'll be reacting to that. Talking more about the series. Once again, be sure to check out our social media, and check us out on our gaming channel, youtube.com/skybotfilm, Skybot Gaming rather, where I have all of the current Doctor Who games played, Doctor Who in VR, the mobile game, and the new console game as well. And yes, click like and subscribe, stay tuned, because each week I'll be doing an episode review, and we can have discussions in the comments below. It's going to be great. I've been looking forward to this for a while now. So yeah, with all that said and done, thanks very much for watching, everyone, and I will see you next week. Bye!